Okay, so here we are. This is our first camp. We left the car up in the hills just before dark last night. Took about a 20-25 minute trek through the rocks down onto the sand here. Found a beautiful place with the valley behind us. We got a cold front, low pressure front coming in at the moment, so it means it's a bit more windy, the weather's slightly more unpredictable. What we're going to do is head down into the valley and see what wildlife is around at this time, which is 8:10 in the morning. So as you can see, these tiny little pools along this beautiful little oasis, full of wildlife, and without the smaller animals in the ecosystem, this beautiful little turtle wouldn't be able to survive here. Look at the beautiful reddish coloration. He's obviously a bit stressed, so we won't keep him out of the water for too long. That's an example of how important the smaller animals in the ecosystem are to support larger species like this turtle here. And this is where they collect their water. And I guess they take it all the way back up the hill to their homes. There's a tiny little dribble coming out of this rock here. They've got the water carriers on the donkey. They come down and fill it up with water and take it back up the hill. Absolutely fantastic. So our friends here, our newfound friends, have told us that down here are some cascades and waterfalls where we might be able to come across some beautiful native wildlife. So we're just heading down a dirt track where the camels and the donkeys come up. There's some pastoral land around here. Over there you see the goats and the sheep, and we're hoping that we can come across some really interesting Moroccan wildlife down here in the valley. This must be one of the primary water resources for the surrounding villages. As you see, there'll be a very limited supply, especially at this time of the year. However, as you can see over there, we have a cascade. We've actually got a local guy. He's got his shampoo out and he's having a wash in the waterfall. And a lady from a local village just over there, here with a few bottles to collect water for her home. So this is a vital resource, not only for the local wildlife, but for the local people as well. Camels are obviously a very valuable resource for the Moroccan people. We have the farmer standing over here behind us. He's quite happy for us to film his camels. They're obviously very good for transportation purposes, to transport produce from one place to another, maybe even if you're moving location as well. They're also a valuable resource as far as meat and the skins go. Here we are in the coastal village of Tarsouti, and just over there we have some absolutely wonderful beaches. It's a very popular surfing town, and the village up there is full of surf shops. There's a lot of tourists here, but unfortunately I haven't got the infrastructure in place for the amount of tourists that are here. And just up there is a public toilet, and as you can see, the sewage system isn't working too well. It's spilling out onto the streets. This then in turn flows into the ocean. We've just been down there and seen the rocks covered in the green algae. There's no mussels and no marine life, and that is obviously causing a lot more problems than it needs to. So probably one of the first times in the history of people travelling abroad when they lose their passport, their mobile phone, their credit cards and their money, that has actually improved their situation thanks to these wonderful people here in Morocco. One thing we've noticed since we arrived in Morocco is the lack of human interaction, disturbance and hunting. Now, this time of year in November in Europe, unfortunately, there's a lot of hunting going on. It's not only the birds that are shot, killed and injured that you have to worry about, along with the other species in the ecosystem, of course, it's a disturbance. If people are heading into the environment, loud gunshots, these birds will not settle, they will not roost, they will not feed and they will not mate, and that will obviously be very detrimental to the species. So here we are in Souss-Massa National Park. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. Above us a few minutes ago was a Bornelli's eagle. We've also seen coots, cormorants, egrets. If we have a look down here, you can see the flamingos' footprints. They're pretty wide, and it also helps stabilise their top-heavy body, and they can stamp through the mud. That stirs up the food and makes it accessible for them to eat, and small crabs like this would be part of their diet. Now, there was a moment there where my heart really did break. Most of the ibis had flown off, and there were just a couple of pairs left. Well, those pairs flew off, they came up through the valley, but there was one solitary ibis that was left on his own, and he hung around on the sandbank, did a bit of feeding, went back to the ledge and went and joined the cormorants almost for a bit of company. And then after about 3 or 4 minutes, he decided to fly again east, and hopefully he's joined up with the rest of the flock. If you look at the shape of the ibis's beak and how soft its land is, they'll just dig it up, turn over the snails, the insects, the rodents and the reptiles, and that allows them to feed very easily indeed. This beach is so well protected, and the cliff edge there is littered with the droppings of these ibis and some other species that are up there with them. Very little human interaction. In fact, you could not get to this beach or the cave underneath unless you came by boat. There's no human interaction, and to be this close to one of the most endangered species in the world and to see so many of them in the last 4 hours is an absolute privilege. So yet again, we've just seen our resident kestrel. By day or by night, whenever we come here, one of the birds of prey in this area, and they have an amazing sixth sense, and their amazing sixth sense allows them to pick up and visualise the urine trails of the rodents. He'll follow the urine trail, he'll find the hole where the rodents are hiding out, he'll wait very patiently, silent and still, the rodent comes out of the burrow, bang, down he goes, in go the talons, away he flies,